When you're talking about leadership and culture, and there's a lot of different ways that people can interpret what that means. And usually it kind of boils down to a personal experience. Starting with Gordon Highlander, Greg, myself, and Eric actually worked for another GC and had no clue that he was looking to go and take a venture on his own, because he himself had been doing a lot of thought and contemplation about what it meant to be for others and to be able to lead in what his heart's desired. And so he was brave and had the courage to be able to step out and take a risk. And when he asked me to come along with him, which was a very short 4 or 5 months thereafter, I was like, no, I just felt like there was a lot of risk there. But like I said, after a lot of prayer and contemplation, after really being able to lean into that, this was my friend asking, it really kind of changed my perception of what it meant to step out and be bold and be vulnerable, honestly. Here we are, 16 years later, and never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined or envisioned the company growing to the level that it's at today. When I say growing, I don't necessarily mean just in value or dollar size. I mean in all the ways of which we've been able to invite people into our family and to be able to grow people and help them live out to their best potential. When we were smaller, the way we were able to wrap our arms around what it meant to be a Highlander was so important to the foundation. It really was the building blocks to the true north of what we want our legacy to be as Gordon Highlanders. Just the invitation to come in and be a part of that is something that, in all honesty, we haven't had to force or rally a whole lot. I think there's been a wonderful gift where people feel what's happening here. And when you speak about soul, that to me is what it is. It's the rhythm of something that you can't necessarily see. It's intangible, and so it's definitely something that you feel. When people get here, it's such an honor because you get to hear their story about what it means to them to be able to align with that feeling and that emotion. It would have never been this way or come this way had those building blocks not been set early on. For us, it's just the way of how we do business now. And so, it won't be easy, but definitely, what's the quote? It will always be worth it. The thing of it is that there's a level of accountability. And when I talk about accountability, I think oftentimes that word gets taken in a negative connotation, or that it's going to be this painful experience. And that's not how it is here. I think accountability is something that's actually very beautiful for our organization and for the people to sum up our culture to be that this is the way we live it out, and these are the behaviors that we want to exhibit to be able to maintain what we've built and what the people are craving. It's really being able to recognize as leaders in the organization how we're carrying that in a way forward to where people know that it's through the lens of authenticity. When you do it right, and for us, right is we take the time to invest in our people in the relationships first, and we know the importance of building trust. And the only way that you're going to be able to get trust and alignment is through those deep connections. When we're talking about how do we hold people accountable, well, first of all, we lean into the relationship. And when we're sitting down and having the tough conversations, hopefully it's known that it's through the lens of love. I think that's the best way that we can get around it and speak truth in love. When we find ourselves in complex situations where maybe there's a little bit of tug of war on what is the right thing to do, how do we make so many decisions as the business continues to grow in the rapid pace that it has, I think there's comfort for us to go back and say, wait a minute, let's rely on what we've built, and let's make sure that we can gain alignment through those values as we make the decisions to be the overlay, so that we can ensure we're doing the right things for our people and for the organization. To make sure that we stay aligned with our culture, it's very much a cross-pollinated interview process to bring in, first of all, the right people who align with our values. And then once they get into the organization, it's very quick to say, okay, here's what we've talked about. First example is how do we live it out? And a wonderful experience with Greg doing the cultural training, really the deep dive into how it came to be, the storytelling, and really the first impression to what it means to be a Gordon Highlander and live through the values. We're all craving, like, where do we belong and how do we add value? And when we decided to set a day aside to be able to call out what it means to be a Highlander, it has to tether back to our core values. And so acknowledging those individuals, I hope that it brings them a sense of the belonging and a sense of value that they do add to the organization on a deeper level. The tactical pieces are always going to be a part of our day-to-day, but what we're talking about is a little bit more in depth. It's really how are you showing up as a human and impacting the people around you to create a positive experience for everyone. Sometimes culture can get mistaken for, the jelly beans that we have in the break room. And that's not it at all. It's a perk. Everyone loves jelly beans, I think. But it's more about the behaviors and how we hold ourselves accountable and our beliefs and our action towards it all. In order for somebody to be able to lean into it, you've got to be able to get to a place that's outside of the tactical. And sometimes that is hard to do. I mean, we're in an operational driven industry and results really matter. But if you don't shape what the parallel looks like to that, I think that's what you'll constantly produce is the task runners and honestly a mediocre organization. And I think that is the difference maker, is that we're prepared to invest in our business for it to look different. And invest is a lot of different things to us. It's not just monetary, but it's the time and attention to ensure that, again, we're loving our people the right way. And when we call out that people come first, we know that that's not always easy. There's a lot of complexities that can come to that, but we know that that's what legacy is built off of.